הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. Same thing again, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. How good it is,
How good it is.
how sweet it is,
How sweet it is.
to be together on this day. How good it is,
How good it is.
how sweet it is,
How sweet it is
to be together on this day. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Are you awake?
There's a lot of people
because
here.
the mask, I can't hear them in the usual way. And we also always say Bruchim Habaim, which is a way of saying welcome, but also really means blessed are you in your coming. Thank you for being here to create something special and sacred for each other, for all of us, and especially for Elizabeth as she becomes Bat Mitzvah. Some of you may be here at Temple Road of Shalom for the first time. We're especially glad you're here. And thank you to everyone for wearing your masks and sitting comfortably distanced from the people who that works for. And, you know, we have a big room. Anyone needs to spread out, we welcome that, of course. As you would imagine, Elizabeth will be leading us a lot in the service today, and we hope you'll be comfortable reading with her or singing with her and all that sort of thing. You'll see that the prayer book, and for you guys, it's under your chair, you too, you don't need. The prayer book is this prayer book. So it's in front of you, and there are some large navy blue books. Those are the Torah commentaries. The smaller book is our prayer book. If there aren't enough where you're seated, look, there's some empty spaces. Feel free to take one from somewhere else and to sing with us and read with us, and we thank you for that. And I think...
And if you're online, if you're joining us on the streaming, you can find our prayer book just right above where you're watching on our streaming site. There's a link. And if you're following along with us on Facebook, so you can go to our streaming site and find the link there right above where you're watching.
And we now turn to the parents of our bat mitzvah. It's our custom here at Rhodes Shalom, before we open our prayer books to start our service in earnest, to give them an opportunity to speak privately to their daughter, to mark this occasion, to give her their own blessing. So I'd like to invite Alicia and Eric to stand with Elizabeth as they take a private family moment, and we invite you to prepare yourselves for worship as well.
Lechi lach to a land that I will show you. Lech lecha to a place you do not know. Lechi lach on your journey I will bless you. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lechi lach. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lechi
Let us turn now to our prayer book, Mishkan Tefillah, page 195, as we begin our service in earnest with the Baruch Hu, which we call the call to worship. Please rise and join us in this first official prayer. And won't you please join me on page 199? Let us read responsively in the English that is there. O God, inspiration and guide for all, you have spoken in 1,000 tongues for us to hear. In every land and every age, your children have heard you and imagined you in separate ways. And yet, O God, you are one, unifier of humanity. Won't you join me? We give thanks for the sages and teachers who bring us understanding of your will. Gratefully we recall the lawgivers and prophets, the psalmists and sages of Israel, and joyfully we remember that from the dawn of Israel's life, we would turn to you and find purpose. May the teachings of our ancestors live on in our minds and their passion for righteousness stir our hearts. Help us to live so that our daily conduct reveals the beauty and wisdom of your truth. Baruch atah Adonai, habocher be'amo Yisrael be'ahava. And on the next page, the Shema. Shema Yisrael. Won't you please be seated, and won't you join us in chanting the V'ahavta on page 201.
V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha v'hayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha Hayom alevavecha, Bishinantam levanecha, Vidibarta bam, Bishivtecha bevetecha, Uvlechtecha vaderech, Uvshochbecha uvkumecha, Ukshartam leot ayadecha, Vehayu letotafot beinenecha, Uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru vasitem et kol mitzvotai v'hitem kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem Me'eretz Mitzrayim, lehiyot lachem lelohim, ani Adonai Elohechem.
And let us continue together at the bottom of that page. Love Adonai your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work, whether you are tired or you are rested. Let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house, nor outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai your God. And making our way to the next wonderful song of the service, which is the song Mi Chamocha. Some of you might know it, a beautiful poem on page 203. I hope you'll join me. Why don't we read it together? Sing the song of men, please join me. Sing the song of men and women, joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace.
We continue with the TV law on page 205. Please join me as we chant the prayers on the next 3 pages together. Adonai sefatayv tiftach ufi agite ilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei hakol, v'zocher hasdei avot v'yamahot, u'mevi ge'ula livnei v'nechem, lema'an shemo ve'ahava, melech ozer u'mashiach u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, magen Avraham v'ezrat Sarah. Source of all being, we turn to you as there did our people in the ancient days. They beheld you in the heavens, they felt you in their hearts, and they sought you in their lives. Their quest is ours. Together, help us to see the wonder of being. Give us the courage to search for truth. Teach us the path to a better life. So shall we, by our lives and our labors, bring near the world we envision, one of justice, freedom, and peace. We continue together on the next page with the giver wrote. Ata gibor le'olam Adonai, mechaye hakol, ata rav le'oshia, morid ha'tal. Mechakel chayim bechesed, mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, somech nofim ve'ofech cholim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato lishenei afar, micha mocha ba'agivurot, umito melech, melech menid umekaye, umatzmi Yeshua, v'ne'eman ata lechachayot hakol. Baruch ata Adonai mechaye hakol. We continue with the Kedusha on page 208.
Nekadesh et shimcha ba'olam, keshem shvakdishim oto b'shmei marom, kakatuv היה נביאך, וקרא זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ, כבודו. אדיר, אדירנו, אדוני, אדוננו, מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ. ברוך כבוד אדוני במקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו ומלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהיך ציון, לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. בשבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש, לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Page 210. To all generations we will make known your greatness, and to all eternity proclaim your holiness. Your praise, O God, shall never depart from our lips. Blessed are you, Adonai, the Holy God. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Please be seated.
We're singing. Do you want to
Oh, yeah,
announce?
okay. We continue with the singing of the Yismechu on page 211.
ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי, שומרי, שומרי שבת, בקורי יום. Oh, we might need a restart. Sorry about that. This is my mistake. I forgot to put it on Frank's cue sheet. I'm sorry, Frank. Here we go. Everyone, join us. ישמחו. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי, שומרי, שומרי שבת, בקורי עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי, שומרי, שומרי שבת, בקורי עונג שבת. וקודשי, וקודשי שבי בראשית שבת, ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, וקוראי עונג שבת, ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת, וקוראי עונג שבת.
Those who keep Shabbat by calling it delight will rejoice in your will. The people that hallow Shabbat will delight in your goodness. For being pleased with the seventh day, you hallowed it as the most precious of days, drawing our attention to the work of creation. Please join me in singing the Kadshenu. Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu ritzei v'imnuchatenu kadeshenu b'mitzvotecha v'tein chelkenu b'toratecha sabe'enu mituvecha v'samchenu b'shuatecha v'tacher libeinu le'ovtecha be'emet v'chan kileinu Adonai Eloheinu be'ahava uvratzon Shabbat kodshecha v'yanuchu v'Yisrael mekadeshei shemecha Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat.
Continue on page 212. On this Shabbat day, as you graciously receive our prayers, help us to hear your call, grant us enough health to fulfill our duties, and the compassion we need to attend to others. We join together. Teach us humility that we may perceive our own faults, and grant us the wisdom to be forgiving of others. Give us the courage to be true to our highest selves, and the charity to see the best in those around us. Give us patience enough not to become discouraged, hope enough to overcome all fears for the future, and faith enough to know your presence. O source of blessing, look with favor upon us. May our offerings be acceptable to you. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadecha b'yirah na'avod. On page 213 at the bottom, we join in our prayer of thanksgiving. If you're comfortable with the Hebrew, I hope you'll join me. Modim anachnu lach, she'atah hu Adonai Eloheinu, ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu le'olam va'ed. Tzur chayenu magen yishenu, atah hu ledor vador. And at the bottom of page 215, we pray that we may live not by our fears, but by our hopes, not by our words, but by our deeds. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. We join in our prayer for peace, 216, the Sim Shalom. Sim Shalom, Tova uvracha. Sim Shalom, Tova uvracha. Sim Shalom, Tova uvracha. Sim Shalom, Tova uvracha. Chen v'chesed v'rachamim. Chen v'chesed v'rachamim. Sim Shalom, Tova uvracha. Sim Shalom, Tova uvracha. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
sim shalom, tova uvracha, sim shalom, tova uvracha. We continue now with a few moments of our own silent prayer and meditation. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It's so wonderful to be together here with you, Elizabeth, as you become Bat Mitzvah. Elizabeth, you've already led us so beautifully today in worship. We're so proud of her and all that she's accomplished. And we're thrilled that all of you are here to witness this wonderful moment in her life and the life of her family and friends. Today, Elizabeth will officially become Bat Mitzvah, a Jewish young adult, as she is called to the Torah by her Hebrew name to read from its words and to teach us about its message. And she has done already such an extraordinary job, but pretty soon you'll see the beauty at which Elizabeth chants from the Torah, and we'll revel in that moment with her as she does it for the very first time. So it is just a wonderful moment in her life, and pretty soon we'll pass down the Torah as she holds the Torah in her arms, takes on this new mantle of leadership. And we know that you, Elizabeth, couldn't have gotten to this moment without the love and care, of course, of your family, of your amazing sisters, but also of your grandparents who have given you so much love and encouragement throughout these years as well. So I'd like to wish a mazel tov to the grandparents. So to Barbara and Richard Walker, to Christine and Gordy Weber and Carol Weber, a true and hearty congratulations and mazel tov to you on this wonderful day. And I'd like to invite up Barbara and Richard Walker to join us on the right here on the floor as we pass down the Torah to Elizabeth's arms. I'd like to invite the congregation to please rise as we continue with Ein Kamocha with our reading of the Torah service this morning.
Elizabeth, may you cherish the message of this Torah. It is a guidebook passed down from generations of Jews before you who have kept Judaism alive. We take great pride this day in your acceptance of the Torah. This responsibility requires strength, knowledge, commitment, and love. Today you have brought these qualities to the Jewish people and therefore are part of the link of the chain of Jewish tradition. May you embrace Torah your whole life.
And we continue together with the words of Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo, Hallelujah iti, Hallelujah Shemo yachdav, Lecha
Please be seated.
Sound good?
The Torah portion for this Shabbat that I'll be reading is called Re'eh. It comes from the book of Deuteronomy, and my Hebrew reading begins with chapter 11, verse 26. In this portion, Moses begins his third discourse with the Israelites, who are about to enter the land of Israel without him. After having reminded him of their past transgressions and of the commandments that they have been divinely given, Moses tells them that they have a choice: obey the commandments and receive a blessing, or disobey them and receive a curse. You can find the Torah reading in the Torah commentary books located at your seats beginning on page 1259.
The first Aliyah for Elizabeth's reading this morning, it's an honor to call up her sister Elena Weber and her friend Kayla Groveman. Tamona l'Aliyah Torah.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamborach. Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu min kol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Re'eh Anochi noten lifnechem hayom baracha ukalala et habracha asher tishmeu al mitzvot Adonai Elohechem asher Anochi mitzaveh etchem hayom v'haklala im lo tishmeu al mitzvot Adonai Elohechem v'sartem mincha derech asher Anochi mitzaveh etchem hayom lalechet acharei Elohim acherim asher lo yedatem.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Sure. Elena, Michaela, beautiful job. And it's an honor to call up for the second Aliyah, Elizabeth's loving parents, Alicia and Eric Weber. Yamdu l'Aliyah Torah.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. V'haya ki yiviacha Adonai Elohecha el haaretz asher ata v'shama l'rishta v'natata et habracha al har Gerizim ve'et haklala al har Eval. Halohema be'ever hayarden acharei derech mevo hashemesh be'eretz haknaani hayoshev be'arava mu hagilgal eitzel elonei moreh ki atem ovrim et hayarden lavo lareshet et haaretz asher Adonai Elohechem noten lachem v'rishtem ota v'shavtem ba ushmartem la'asot et kol chachukim ve'et hamishpatim asher anochi noten lifnechem hayom.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher natan lanu Torah emet. V'haye olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Beautiful. For the third Aliyah, it's such an honor, Elizabeth, to call you up for the very first time as Bat Mitzvah by your Hebrew name. Tamo, 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 rabachura Bat Mitzvah. Simon bat Ezra veli shavala aliyah Torah chazak.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Eile chahukim v'hamishpatim asher tishmerun la'asot ba'aretz asher natan Adonai Elohei avotecha lecha l'rishta kol hayamim asher atem hayim al ha'adama abed ta'abedun et kol hamekomot asher avdu sham hagoyim asher atem yoshimota et Elohehem al haharim haramim va'al hagivaot v'tachat kol eitz ra'anan v'nitatztem et mizbechotam v'shibartem et matzevotam va'asherehem tisrefun ba'esh ufsilei Elohechem tigadeun v'ibadetem et shemam min hamakom hahu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chaye olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Such a voice.
That was so beautiful, Elizabeth.
So
Future
beautiful.
Cantor, I hope. I'm just planting
down
the
for one
seed.
sec.
Just, while I
Yeah.
can. That was just
Don't you have an application to Cantoros in your office?
Ready for you. We are going to continue with dressing the Torah before we read the Haftarah. It's an honor to call up Evie to join us to dress the Torah. And we continue with Vizot HaTorah, page 252. Please rise.
We turn now to the Haftarah, or concluding reading of the Torah service. The Haftarah that I'll be reading is from the book of Isaiah, beginning with chapter 54, verse 16. Isaiah tells the people that although the curse, like that detailed in the Torah portion, has been visited upon them, the time for a blessing is at hand, and they will be safe from oppression. The portion can be found in your commentaries on page 1290. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim v'retzav devrechem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah u'Moshe avdo Uv'Yisrael amo, uv'nvi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek. Hine anochi barati charash, nofeach be'esh pecham, umotzi cheli lema'aseichu. V'anohi barati mashachit lechabel kol keli yutzar alaich lo yitzlach v'hu lashon takumitach lamishpat tarshi zot nachalat Avdei Adonai Vitzit Katam Me'iti Ne'um Adonai Hoi Kotzame Lechu Lamayim V'asher Ein Lo Kasef Lechu Shivru V'echolnu U'chu Shivru Below Chesef Uvlo mechir, yayin v'chalav. Lama tishkelu chesef, belo lechem, v'giachem, belo lisava. Shimu shemoa elai, v'iflu tov, v'tit agnav b'adeshen, nafshechem. Hatu oznechem, uchu elai. Shimu uti nafshechem ve'ech reta lachem berit olam hasdei David hane'emanim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam tzor kol ha'olamim Tzaddik b'chol hadorot, ha'el hane'eman, ha'omer ve'oseh, ha'medaber u'mekayem, shechol devarav emet v'tzedek. Al ha'torah, ve'al ha'avodah, ve'al ha'nevi'im, ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh, shenatata lanu, Adonai Eloheinu, likdusha v'limnucha, Lechavod utifaret. Al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach umvarchim otach yitbaraf shimcha B'fi kol chai tamid le'olam ba'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. Beautiful, beautiful job, Elizabeth. Fabulous. Leading us in worship, chanting from the Torah, and chanting so beautifully your Haftarah. You've really done such a gorgeous job today. We're so proud of you. We will return the Torah to the Ark now. We're joining together with the words of Eitz Chaim. I invite you to please rise. Please be seated.
We're so excited, Elizabeth, to hear your own reflections on this day. We always ask our young people to look at the tradition, to look at the special parts of the service, and share some of that meaning to them personally. So, Elizabeth, over to you for your own Devar Torah.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm so glad everyone can finally be together again and celebrate this special day with me. The Torah portion I just read is called Re'eh. Re'eh means see. It's the first word of my Torah portion. It's the first things people do when they open up their eyes, and it's the way people look at the world and their actions. In my portion, God asked the people to choose a mountain. On Mount Gerizim, the blessing is presented, and the curse is presented on Mount Ebal. The choice is to follow or follow not the commandments. To me, we can look at this passage and learn for ourselves about choosing the blessing or the curse, as well as how we see things and what we look for in the world, positive or negative. At school and in my youth group, we learned about how our words affect others. I realized that they aren't just teaching us about that, but hinting that our outlook on the world affects our actions. We need to look to bring out the good in each other instead of judging. As we start getting back into the swing of things and interacting with more people, the smallest things like carrying groceries, holding the door for someone, or helping in your neighbor's yard show that how we look at the world impacts what we do. It shows that we are noticing what's happening around us and looking for ways we can help. When someone opens up a door for me, it tells me that there is someone who wants to bring blessing to others. We can choose to pursue the blessings or look to the bad. We have the choice at school or just in the world in general, the choice in the ways that we talk to each other, and a choice to decide how we want to live the rest of our lives. Our actions speak louder than words, but in reality, we also help or hurt the people the way we speak. We sometimes don't see things that are right in front of us, like the people who are less fortunate than us, who don't have food that they need or a place to live. Once we see them and notice them, we can do something to help. I came across a quote by Barry and Kaufman. The way we choose to see the world creates the world we see. In life, we can choose to see the positive and the blessings, or we can choose to see the negative and the curses. The small actions, like people's attitude, motivation, and the way we talk to others, affect the way we see life. When something goes wrong, we can look at the negative as if we did something wrong, or we can choose to see it as an experience and learn from it by looking at the positive. This past year has been rough for everybody. COVID-19 made school difficult by making it become virtual. It made keeping in touch with friends hard, and it affected everybody's mental health. At the start of the pandemic, it was difficult to look towards the bright side. I felt as I was losing friends, I wasn't getting my full school experience, and sports were put on hold. As the pandemic continued, I decided to change how I saw things and decided to look for the good. I found who my real friends were, and we kept in touch. I found a new love for fitness and health, as well as continue my passion for music. We have the choice to live our life to the fullest. We have the choice to make this moment however we want. For my Mitzvah project, I raised money as well as volunteered at an organization called the Warrior Canine Connection, WCC. The WCC's mission is to train dogs to be service dogs so they can help recovering warriors reconnect with life and the community around them. When I volunteered, I completed many tasks, including cleaning toys and tools, scooping yards, making treats, and so many more. Instead of seeing this work as chores, I saw them as an opportunity to do what I love while helping my community. Even though the work that I did was tough, I reminded myself that I was helping dogs that would end up helping people. For their part, a service dog can help a venture to be connected with the world in a way they couldn't before, to go places and to be with people, to take a walk, and so many other things. I hope by doing something to help the WCC, I am helping veterans to see the good things around them and have a more fulfilling life. I would also like to thank you all for coming and supporting me today. I'd also like to thank the clergy as well as my tutor, Cantor for helping me learn these portions these past 2 years. Finally, I'd like to thank all my family and friends, my amazing Jew crew, my theater, swim, and soccer friends, and my family friends. Thank you all for keeping in touch throughout the pandemic. Most importantly, I can't forget my sisters and parents. Elena, thank you so much for being my #1 supporter. Evie, thank you for distracting me all the time because I would rather be playing with you. Mom and Dad, I would like to thank you both so much for helping me through the pandemic. Thank you, and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, and as we say in Hebrew, Yesher Koach, which means, Elizabeth, what an amazing job you have done. As the Cantor said, and we knew this already, your beautiful voice really inspired us in prayers, in the chanting that you did. But you know what? This is like a beautiful sermon. So I'm going to move that cantorial application to the side, and I'm putting in the rabbinic school application. What a beautiful, you looked into this Torah portion, which for many people, they look at this and they think like, this is ancient history, and did Moses really even exist? Like this, some people look at this and they just see things that they don't feel they connect to. You looked at this Torah portion and you immediately laser focused in on the most important messages, the ability to see what's out there in the world, to see the good, to use the lens that is positive, and then to make a choice. And this whole Torah portion really boils down to your beautiful, wonderful speech. Don't delete this file. Keep this file, Elizabeth, and use it. Come back to it to remind yourself. Because as we all know, as many of us know, it's not always easy to see the good and to make the right choice. Sometimes you're just not in that place. But you've really inspired us with your words, and you've really hit the nail right on the head with the message of this Torah portion. The rabbis for the last 2,000 years have been talking about the word re'eh, the name of your Torah portion. And they are saying a lot of exactly what you say here in your speech. What choices do you make with how you see other people? Do you see the bad in them, or do you see the good in them? And once you hopefully see the good, what choice do you have in your own actions, right? To do blessing and not curse. And the rabbis take your whole idea just one step further, and they say that when we see the word re'eh, look, which is in, by the way, the command form, the text, the tradition, our families, even God, is inviting us to look into the future. That's what they say. They say the moment that the word re'eh appears in the Torah is a moment for us to look into the future and realize the power that we have to change or direct the future for the good. Re'eh is a word about imagination, and it is a word about agency, power. And it reminds us over and over again, the word re'eh actually appears lots of times in the Torah. Isaac says it to Jacob, Pharaoh says it to Joseph. Here, we're hearing it to us, the Israelite people, in this ancient time, but really to today too. Not only physically look, not only, as you said, look for the good, but imagine the future and how you can make it the best future possible. Elizabeth, you have given us such hope about what the future will be because of your leadership, because you understand what's important in life, because you're willing to put your heart and your soul and your incredibly beautiful voice into all those things. All of us here hope that through a fulfillment of these very words, you will make a difference. You will not only imagine a better future, but you'll help create a better future. Cantor, Rhodes, and I, on behalf of all of our clergy, want to share a blessing with you, a blessing that thanks you for being a blessing today, but also that reminds you, as you look into the future, to look for and embrace the blessings that are there. And so at this time, I'm going to ask your mom and your dad to join you, along with your sister Elena and Evie, to come up to the bima for a very special blessing. We know all of you want to be part of this, so we ask the congregation to please rise. Elizabeth, may God bless you and keep you. As you have shone so beautifully upon us on this Shabbat, may God shine upon you on all the journeys and chapters that are ahead. And may God grant you all the things that you want and need, but most importantly, shalom, peace, an inner peace, a peace you share with family, and a peace that you, through your vision and your commitment, bring into our world. Amen.
Amen. Taking your place in an enduring line, this is the day that you stood up to say our tradition is mine. You have now held the Torah, it's been passed on to you. It's our law and our story, and each telling is new. It is said we stood at Sinai, and today you know you're there. You're the promise of a people, a blessing and a prayer. We remain standing and continue with Aleinu L'Shabeach on page 282. Aleinu L'Shabeach L'Adon HaKol, L'Teit Gedula Le'Yotzer Breshit, Shehu Notei Shamayim V'Yosed Haaretz, U'Moshav Yikaro B'Shamayim Imal, U'Shchinatu Zo B'Gofei Meromim, Eloheinu Einod, V'anachnu Korahim, U'Mishchachavim U'Modim, Lifnei Melech Malchei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Page 287. V'nemar v'haya Adonai Melech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad.
Please remain standing. This section of our service comes to a close with a prayer of memory. It's on page 294, Kaddish Yatom. We think of all those people in the circle of our congregation whose yahrzeits, the anniversary of their death, occurs on this Shabbat. And we think of perhaps members of the extended Weber family who are missed on a day like this. Won't you join me in reciting Kaddish Yatom on page 294? Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba, v'yalma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, v'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevarach le'olam omei omaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yithalev v'yithalal shemei dekudisha birchu, le'olam mimkol birchata v'shirata, tush bechata v'nechemata, da'amiram be'alma v'imiru amen. Yehi shlama Rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace and love and support to all who mourn, to anyone and everyone who is grieving here and everywhere. And let us say, amen. And won't you please be seated? We are so pleased to have Sam Klein with us, a member of our board, and he has some presentations and greetings on behalf of our congregation. Thanks, Sam.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We welcome those of you who have come from afar. I saw some license plates from the great state of Ohio, which made me feel very good, but everyone should feel welcome. But if you're from Ohio, an extra special welcome. And as we say in Hebrew, OH. Thank you. That's a new Hebrew term that you might not be aware of. In Ohio, it is. In Ohio Hebrew, that means we are just fantastic. So, Elizabeth, Mazel Tov, and congratulations. It was wonderful to see you and your family and your wonderful sisters here together. And I represent the board, the congregational board, and the entire congregation. We have some presents here for you that include a Kiddush cup, which, of course, is the most important part. I mean, when you're 21, it'll be the most important part, but you should use it every night, every Friday night with your family. There's also a book here that's very important, but most importantly, there are two beautiful things here. One is a certificate, and I'm going to show everyone because the artwork was actually done by a member of the temple. It's really beautiful. But inside here are some certificates that include something about a trip to Israel that you might want to look into and involvement in Tristy. But anyhow, it's part of this really is to help you as you continue your journey in Judaism and being a part of the Jewish community. So with that, we say Mazel Tov, and for those of you who weren't familiar with the Ohio thing, you can talk to me afterwards. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Here we go. I just want to make sure I had some, got all the details to share with you. Again, we welcome you and hope there'll be other happy occasions that bring you back to Temple Road of Shalom. A word or two of information. As you make your way out of the sanctuary, take your time. We're trying to, de-densify. So, take your time making your way out of the sanctuary. There is a bus outside for the young people, and it's here. So we hope you'll go right to the bus. The family will launch that bus when they're ready, and the rest of the guests are invited to move on at your leisure to the reception. Okay. We end with a final song and a final blessing, Cantor Rhodes.
We conclude on page 322 with the song Ein Keloheinu. Please join us. Please rise. Ein Keloheinu, ein Kadonenu, ein Kemalkeinu, ein Kemoshienu, mi Keloheinu, mi Kadonenu, mi Kemalkeinu, mi Kemoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Emalkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu
Adonai oz amo yitain, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. May God give strength to us and bless us all with peace. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.